Welcome to the Moon God Pod. On today's episode, we have a bit of an Appalachian State alumni meeting, and one of the featured mods of the Akuverse, our boy Matt Lawson, coming to us from my own stopping grounds as well as LawsonMC90's own stopping grounds, North Carolina. Of course, LawsonMC90 is joining us. I'm JwowLax. Lawson, man, great to finally get you on, and a fellow mountaineer.
There we go. Go Apps. Good morning, gentlemen. Happy to be here.
Excellent. Yeah, it was so funny when we first connected, and I don't even know how it came up, but you said that you were from App State, and I now live in California. Ox is in Chicago, and I don't run into many people from Appalachian State out here. There's a couple of us out here. But it's pretty cool. So that's where I want to kind of start. Like how did you kind of get introduced to start with the NFTs and crypto, and then we'll kind of work into the Aku world.
Yeah, definitely. On the NFT side, I've always been interested in investments. Junior year at App, did an internship with a brokerage firm here in Winston in North Carolina, which that was mainly just stocks and things like that. But that did get me into the investment world. So 2017, during the big original crypto run, got in on I was on Coinbase, so it was just at that time it was Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. So got a little bit of all three. Slowly put more and more into it, and then went full degen, got into the altcoins, hit big on a couple of them. Had this portfolio that 20x, 30x, 40x, and then watched it all go down to about zero across 2018, 2019. Didn't sell any of it. Was joking around with my friends. I'm like, crypto's dead. It's not coming back. And then 2020, 2021 hits. Obviously, everything comes back. So that was the crypto side. NFTs, I guess, interesting story. So I've got a best friend. He lives here in North Carolina. And he got into hash masks, the hashies first. That was his first NFT. And he had a friend from work that kind of got into it with him. And, he let me know about it. And I was only in crypto at the time. And I was like, man, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. And I actually thought it was pretty cool, but he's my best friend. He didn't tell me about it, didn't include me on it. So I was just grilling the guy. And, after a few weeks of doing that, I'm like, hey, I kind of like that stuff. Next time y'all find something, let me know about it. And so I guess February 21st, 2021, they texted me that morning. They said, hey, we think we found one we want to get in on. And obviously that was Genesis. And so, yeah, that was my first NFT I ever purchased. Completely aped in, bought 6 of them that morning or that afternoon. And still hold all 6. And that was my journey into NFTs and Aku at the same time.
Wow. So the very first NFT you bought was Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
You bought the NFT of walking in, and you literally walked in. That's awesome.
First one. Yep.
So what about it was the commitment, obviously, to buying 6 right out the gate. Did you do any kind of research, and where are your friends at that kind of introduced you? Are they still kind of hanging around, and are they even moon gods, or?
Both are moon gods. Yep. Still hanging around. Yeah, I did some research, and to be honest with you, it was kind of my stock background there that pulled me in. And for me, it was a financial decision. I've admitted that to the mod group as far as getting introduced into Aku. That was back on Nifty Gateway, where even if there was an open edition, they were still going up and selling for higher on the resale market. Even minutes after the open edition closed. So I didn't see it as too high of a risk, but also wanted to get enough where if it were to do something that I would have those that I could flip. So obviously that's not turned out to be the case. I still hold all 6 of them. They're vaulted. They're not going anywhere. And obviously added many more chapters on after that.
Lawson, it's a pleasure to talk to a moon god from App State. It warms my heart. Kind
Yeah,
of a
this has to
question.
be the first time, right? That
It's
three folks
amazing.
from Appalachian State got on a podcast to talk about Web3. There's no way that's happened before.
Did you
No.
ever go to a basketball game at App State by chance?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
We were so bad at basketball that Steph Curry's senior year, when Davidson came and played at App, they were marketing Steph Curry. They weren't marketing our basketball team. So there were posters all over campus saying, come see Steph Curry, pack the gym. And it was packed. It was completely sold out. But folks were just there to watch Steph because, he got big the year before when he made that run in the NCAA tournament.
So if my math is right, 3 years prior to that, I was on that App State basketball court. So it makes me warm inside. I guess my question to you is, when we had that big run up in regards to Aku, did you ever consider consolidating or eliminating some of your chapter ones and taking profit out of curiosity?
No, I didn't. Honestly, I've never really considered it. Really, the only mistake I feel I made was after buying six. If chapters were going to stretch out over 3 or 4 years, I think I had my goal was to complete all six sets. But since Micah kind of accelerated the process there, and chapters came out, pretty quick after that, I dropped down to just picking up three. So if I have one regret, it's probably that I didn't complete all six sets, only completed three.
Are you a chapter guy or an Akutar guy? That's a real highly debated question we always pose to our guests. And I'm sure you've listened to, our previous podcast and kind of know where we stand. So when we're talking about taking profits, especially like that run up where the mint passes were going for so high, and then of course just having this really big bonus by getting the Akutars after investing so much with your chapters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a chapter guy. I still have all my Akutars. I haven't sold any of my Aku, none of it, not a single piece. But I have 30 something Akutars, but they were the ones I've airdropped. I've thought about, putting some on the floor and then picking up some other ones, doing a 1-for-1 swap for some traits that I liked a little better or something like that. But honestly, I hadn't gotten around to doing it. So yeah, I'm definitely a chapter guy. Been stacking chapters even through the downturn here. Had some WETH offers out there for a few months, just seeing what would hit. So definitely chapters.
It seems like we're in the midst of rebranding. We have big dates coming up in February, and just want to get your thoughts as to where you see Aku going. I think we had kind of a period of indecisiveness, and it seems like to start 2023, we've gathered some momentum and things seem to be going in a positive direction. And just want your commentary on that.
Yeah, so here I'll break some news for you guys. So I'm actually not part of the mod team anymore. That happened here pretty recently. Me and Glitch got into an altercation, and no, I'm just kidding with you. I've been working. I've been working closely with Micah and the team here for the last month, and officially hopped on to Team Aku, or WYE Media, whatever you want to call it, here about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I'm working on the project manager side. Working closely with some partners, working closely with a couple of projects we've got rolling out here over the next quarter, over the next month. So, from that front, there's a lot of stuff coming. I think the main thing that I noticed when I first made it official, first jumped in with the team was, I kind of envisioned Micah as, puppeteer kind of. You got the 2 handles, and you got 4 or 5 strings coming down each side, and that was our projects, that was our partnerships, and then first week in there, it's just like completely overwhelmed. Just dozens upon dozens upon dozens of things that are going on and cooking in the background. So now I don't know what I view it as, maybe like a weeping willow tree or something like that that's branching off all over the place. So extremely excited. I know there's a lot of things we can't talk about that's in that pipeline, but yeah, there's an overwhelming amount of stuff that's really gonna take off here over the next couple weeks, months, and quarter as well.
So kind of take us back to like when you got into becoming a mod, like what was that kind of process like for that role? but also I would like to say that every mod has, they're all different people, but there's also different type of characteristics and maybe different styles. I like to think that your your role as a mod has been a little bit more real than the rest. Like, I enjoy the positivity and the GMs and stuff, but we also have to have like a checks and balance. It can't all be puppy dogs and flowers. And
Yeah,
so
sure.
I appreciate that when you were modding. So again, like how did you kind of get that opportunity to mod, and then this new promotion? Congratulations on that. Was that something that you were pursuing, or did your modding kind of elevate yourself to that?
Yeah, so on the mod front, I was in the Discord. I was in there before Aku's new friend, wasn't really paying attention, so completely missed that, like many others. Um, but I was in conversation with Glitch, I think even before he was community manager. Um, and then once we both were we had some investments over on the VV side of things. And we would just trade messages about that, thoughts about that. So not Aku related. And then once he, excuse me, became community manager, I just let him know. I said, hey, with the Web2 job I have, I'm pretty plugged in majority of the day, but I get to make my own schedule. So if you ever need help on the mod side of things, I'm more than happy to step in and help where I can. And so that was the initial conversation. And, we went back and forth about a few things. And yeah, when he put a team together, he reached out. He said, hey, I know you've shown interest in this. Is it something you're interested in? As far as the different mod personalities, I kind of joke that, we're kind of a dysfunctional family. You got me, Cal, and Chris, and that's kind of like the three brothers that just wreak havoc on everything, especially in the mod chat. And then you got Glitch, definitely the mom figure between all of us, smacking us in the head with a ruler and stuff like that. You got Ireland. Ireland's definitely the wise old owl. Definitely brings a lot of wisdom to the team. And then you got Doug. Doug's kind of like the fun uncle in the family. Everybody's got to have that uncle, and so definitely love him. But yeah, on the as far as just modding style or anything like that, of course everybody's going to be different. But I try to stay as business focused as possible. Consider myself a business guy. So I try to look from the business side on most of the posts or the decisions that I'm making, and then try to keep it realistic as well. I tell the mod team all the time. We definitely share feedback with folks, positive and negative. That's one of the cool things about the mod team is we can all be really direct, and nobody's going to get mad at the end of the day. And so, we definitely get frustrated with things that are posted in the Discord, especially if we think they're off base. But I try to tell the team, hey, we might know some things that the community doesn't know. If I'm putting myself in their shoes, then what they're saying could potentially make sense, and try to paint that picture. So that's definitely the style I try to take with it.
Transparency's been, a hot topic recently, and I'm curious, like, what your opinion is. Like, if you look in other discords, like, I mean, we all have different bags in different places. I look at some, projects, and I'm like, Aku is way more transparent and at least giving you something to grasp at. And then there's a lot of times where, we're asking a lot of questions like, well, 6 months ago, this was on the table and now there's crickets about it. Is that, RD is really discussed about like being more transparent. How have you kind of felt in your process of, being with Aku, like in the amount of transparency and how it's been, delivered?
Yeah, I mean, there's always things you can improve on the communication and transparency side. Um, it is tough, especially with knowing some things that go on behind the scenes, especially with the project side of things and with the partner side of things. There are so many moving parts at any given time that I think we saw this with the planes drop. obviously that didn't go as quick as everybody wanted it to, but with the other partners, those conversations, they're there. It's not, I've seen feedback. The partners are gone. They're not. But there's a lot of moving parts, and you've got what we can control on our side of the Aku team, and then there's things outside of our control. So, if we came out tomorrow and said, "Hey, we're planning something with Puma in April," that's a made up case. That's not alpha there. But and then Puma pushed that down to August on their timeline, then we've got a community that's completely disappointed. So I agree with you again. RD would agree with you as well that communication is a point of improvement for us, especially clarity around some different things. So we're pushing for that. We're aware on our side, but yeah.
So you said you have a Web 2 job.
Mhm.
I don't, however detailed you want to be about that is welcome. I assume Web 2 means something in the social media realm. I had a social media company myself where I managed accounts, grew accounts, was using a plethora of tools. I've got a lot of friends with major influencer accounts. So I know how to get the eyeballs, and I know what should be done. And I can definitely look at our social media for Aku, and and I've even posted it like, hey, I've got friends. What's your analysis now that you're kind of, you've moved from the bows of the ship into kind of the captain's seat?
Yeah, so I might have misspoke on Web 2. I just consider anything here in the modern times Web 2 from outside. So I actually work. I'm director of sales for an electronic medical record software company based here out of High Point. Mainly deal with pediatric practices. So the electronic health records that the doctors are charting on when they see a kid, or the patient portal that you log into as a parent, telemedicine, mobile application, things like that. So that's my Web 2 day to day. But yeah, I think socials, it's been a big point of improvement for us, or a big focus of improvement. There's definitely you got to play the middle ground between the running a company that's trying to blend between Web 2 and Web 3, and also mixing in a little the degen there as well. And I think that's probably, if I had to pick a point that we can improve on, I think it is more of the degen stuff from the official account. I think we're doing really well here, especially start of the year. Kind of shifting towards the rebrand, switching up a few processes in the background, especially around social media and the different types of assets we deliver to the social media team to get out there, and as well as the actual posts. So I really like where we're going on that front. But yeah, if I had to critique anything, it'd probably be let's mix in a little bit more of the degen style, and even toot our own horn. I think we've got a lot of stuff that we've done that's super impressive, and I think over the next quarter here, a lot of stuff is going to speak for itself. So really excited about what's going to happen.
So can you as a mod, can you speak to kind of the process we have in place of we have our marketing material machine going, and folks touch that Discord for the first time? What are we doing to educate them on Aku and kind of keep that retention high? What does that look like to you?
Yeah, I think it's a mix. It's a mix of the mod team stepping in and bringing those folks on, and it's also a mix of community members doing the same. That was a big push, that we had tried to make right at the start of the year to get the Moon Gods out of Moon God chat, for a majority of the day-to-day casual conversation. Of course, we're keeping that channel for any type of alpha, any type of critical questions or anything like that. That's what it's for. But just getting out into the community lounge and helping to onboard those new folks. We saw a really good example of that on January 1st with CKs and Rusty and a lot of those other folks plugging in to bring in some new people. But yeah, with new folks coming in, that's definitely on the mod team to reach out, welcome them, and show them around, as far as because we do have a lot of assets out there. Educating folks on chapters, educating folks on Ocutars, and then definitely plugging in with the community as well, getting their help on that.
what would your elevator pitch for Aku be? So, you know, we're hanging out at a bar and I see your Aku sweatshirt. What's that? Oh, it's this NFT project. Well, tell me what Aku is. I think it would be great if almost we had like this script, like I know exactly what it was. Like if you said, what is ESPN? I'd say it's a network dedicated to showing sports. Like it's that.
Hmm.
I think it's a little difficult to kind of explain, NFT Aku, but if you could just do that, your elevator pitch of Aku.
Yeah, I think the short version would obviously be, representation matters, especially around the question of can astronauts be black? I'd start there on a short explanation. On a long explanation, if I'm telling, what Aku means to me, I'd be pointing towards two specific stories that happened in my life. One, back in 2006, I got to spend a year over in Kenya. Um, and that kind of, someone that lived in rural North Carolina and then finally went overseas and got dropped in the middle of Africa. That was completely eye opening for me. Still have a lot of friends from that trip, still stay in communication with a lot of those folks, and just different stories about how, their culture is so much different from ours. That was during the World Cup, I think. And I got a newspaper one day, just threw it away in the trash can, and came out of the hotel the next day, and there's like 20 people gathered around, and I'm like, what in the world? Gather around trash can. And I asked the hotel manager, I'm like, what's going on? She said, you threw your newspaper away. It had the World Cup scores. They're like, so they're waiting for you to throw your newspaper away today so they can get those scores. And I was like, holy cow. And so I spent, all summer just loving on these folks. And, that's where my love of soccer came from too. First time I'd ever played, 16, and just got absolutely worn out by these locals playing with trash bags and sticks and things like that. But obviously, when I see Aku, I see a lot of that in my vision. And then we've got a family that we're close with here, and they chose to expand their family through adoption. And their oldest son, he's from Ethiopia, and his story is just unbelievable. His mom had him, tried to throw him away is probably the best way to describe it. I think he ended up in a feeding trough within 6 to 12 hours after he was born. Policemen found him, got him to an orphanage. Obviously, they nursed him to health, and then this family went over there and got him. They had a 2 to 3 year wait, couldn't ever get approved for anything, and then boom, just like that. And so I've really had a chance to pour into him. Play soccer with him, do a lot of other activities, and so I see Aku in him as well. What's really interesting is the pre. I know we haven't seen Aku without his helmet, but the pre Aku that Micah did for Pranksy is like a split image of him and Keenan I. So it's so for me that would be my long sales pitch about what it means personally to my life, and then I would definitely get into the business aspect of it, and I don't think we have time to go into all that, but yeah, so that would kind of be my short and long sales pitch there.
There definitely is. People seem to really resonate when you actually kind of describe the story of can astronauts be black, like that little synopsis. Everyone that I tell it, like they immediately go to some moment in their life where they felt like they were Aku.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the challenges, I think, but it's not a challenge because, like I said, when people kind of really hear it, then they're like, there's a full adoption almost,
Mm-hmm.
One of the newest moon gods, Big D,
Yep.
he was a former professional wrestler, and when I told him about it, he was all in, and
Yep.
He just became a moon god, but he was collecting chapters, got his Akutars, and it's funny now because his collection is such. He was going through them, and he was like, "Man, I really want to get one of those homemade box helmets."
Yep.
And I was like, "Good luck,
Yep. No chance.
To the punch on those."
Mm-hmm.
He's going through his thing, and he ends up actually having one in his collection. He didn't even know it. I was
That's great.
your bag is so full of Aku, you didn't even realize you had something. So.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead, please.
I did not hit the lottery with my 30 plus Akitar drop. I think I had one partner trade. I had a planes trade in there. Um, some other cool aesthetic looking stuff, but definitely nothing on the rare side.
It's funny you say that. I had 45, and I think I had like the worst 45 in the history of man. So I definitely struck out there. I really appreciate your perspective, outlining the how you kind of found Aku and the story of that story was wow, beautiful story. I guess I know we're running out of time here, but briefly, can you mentioned like discussing the financial side of Aku that appeals to you? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, what do you mean? You mean within the team or within the NFT side?
Within the NFT side, if I'm somebody who's finding Aku for the first time and I like this story now, I want to be sold on the financial side, but the potential financial benefit, what comes to mind?
Yeah, so I think I would go back, as JWowL was talking about, to the pre, what was it, in between mint passes and Okutar drop when everything was at the all time high.
Mhm.
I didn't have a massive bag. I had the three Moon God sets. I had a couple spare chapters at that time. That was before I even started, accumulating those. And then I had my mint passes that I was dropped. And I'm a spreadsheet guy. I had a spreadsheet. I was looking at a spreadsheet that was high six, low seven figures, depending on the what was going on OpenSea at the time. So one, I would just point back to that and show, hey, this was in our best time floor price wise. This is where we were. And then you jumped to now, and sure, folks are disappointed in the floor price, but I think it's an incredible opportunity. One on the chapter side, and two on the Okutar side as well. I think we're at our relative bottom on the Okutar side. That's not financial advice. That's my personal opinion. I think we've got one way to go, and it's not down on that front. And then this is it's out there. There's a burn mechanism coming into play for both sides. You got that coming into chapters and coming into Okutars as well. Love the deflationary aspect of that. Things are only going to get rare. I don't think we're going to see a 30 to 40% reduction of supply, but could see 5 to 10%. And for me, even that, that's a big opportunity there, especially as, once folks see what these items might be redeemable for, they then have to make a choice. Is the relative dollar figure of what I'm going to be getting worth what I can burn here? And I think folks are I think they're going to say yes to, especially with some of the floors we see right now. So I think one, you're going to see a lot of those floor, especially chapters. I think you're going to see them getting scooped, and then what folks choose to burn. Not sure on that front. That's going to be a personal decision, but that's where I would point folks to. I think the opportunity on the financial side is certainly there. Picking up the pieces you want. On the Moon God side, I haven't seen spreadsheet lately for what it would cost to be a Moon God. I'm assuming around 6 to 7 grand, 7 to 8, in US dollars. So I don't think we'll ever see it lower than that. So your boy Big D coming in, I think he came in at the right time. Anybody else that's kind of on the fence, if you're not jumping in, now, what are you waiting on?
The last chapter 3 sold for just about 4,000, maybe 4,200, depending on what ETH was at.
Yes.
And I saw there was a chapter 2 that sold on Nifty for 1,200. So if those are kind of your bases, that put you right over 5,000, 6,000, and then
Yeah, I think that's about right.
the others, probably consider like an average of like 500 a piece, if that. But yeah, those prices at mint pass time, I've got 5 chapter 3s. I've got 2 complete sets, but I've got the keys to the Moon God, so to speak, with my chapter 3s, and what happens with those. Usually we close the show on 2 questions. I'm gonna, since you're an App State alumni, I want to do 4 questions.
All right.
My first question is an App State question. Uh, my first question is an App State question. Uh, my first question is an App State question. 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 My first question is an App best place to go grab lunch in Boone, North Carolina for you?
It's Coyote Kitchen.
Oh, jeez.
Lu-
That
lunch.
around when we were there, LawsonMC90. I never heard.
Yeah, lunch and dinner. It's in the Walmart shopping center. It's super weird. Like I can't even describe it. It's like a mix of um, I don't know, like mix of Jamaican and Chipotle and something else. Like they have these bowls, and I know it sounds weird, but once you read them, you're like, okay, I could see that working. And then once you taste it, you're like, yeah, this definitely works. So, yeah, Coyote Kitchen.
I was hoping to hear either McAdoo's or Caribbean's. I don't even know if they're still there, but
McAdoo's definitely still there. Yep, the massive honey buns.
yeah. And my third question is bench, start, cut. You're a soccer guy. I don't want to sit there and say who's the greatest, but I guess we'll kind of know. So your three guys will be Pele, Messi,
Hmm.
and Ronaldo. Bench,
Yep.
you got start one, bench one, and cut one.
Yeah, I'm cutting Ronaldo.
Uh,
I'm a big CR7 fan, but I think it's pretty clear the other two have surpassed him. Um, for Messi, I was a massive. I'm a huge U.S. soccer fan. Been to 60, 70 matches. But I was pulling for Messi. I do think he's the greatest of all time. I think it was a tough argument with the World Cup missing, as unfair as that sounds. But him getting it, that was icing on the cake. The Messi and Ronaldo comparison, I think it's over. Especially with what's happened with Ronaldo here in the past year, getting cut by Manchester United, every team in the world saying, not coming out and saying, hey, we want him. Every team coming out and saying, hey, we're not bidding for Ronaldo. It was kind of, embarrassing. I'm not sure, but ends up in, where is he now? Saudi Arabia, or yeah, somewhere in the Middle East, a league
Heyday now,
that's
better than
yeah.
MLS. So
He's getting paid, but he's also now playing in a league that's not even top 25 in the world. You can't be the greatest of all time if that's how you're going out. So cutting Ronaldo, I'm gonna bench Pele. A little bit of recency bias there. I've seen Pele highlights. I never watched him play live, obviously. And then Messi, I'm putting him anywhere you want me to put him. You put him at defense, that's fine. I'll take him there because he's the greatest player of all time. So I want him on the field anywhere you can get him.
and my final question for like what I call my personality questions is barbecue. Are we doing vinegar based or are we doing ketchup based?
Yeah, I go back and forth. Luckily here in North Carolina, the state's kind of split, but I'm kind of in the middle of the state, so I can definitely get both. I think here recently I've leaned more towards the vinegar side, but I do get tomato based much more often than vinegar. Here in Winston area, it's mostly tomato based, but we got the Stamey's barbecue and a couple others that have slowly creeped over across the line. So if given the choice, I'd probably take vinegar.
Oxford.
Yeah, I've got one question for him. It's a very important question. Question for you, sir, is where do you stand on Bojangles? And if you stand positively on Bojangles, please preach the gospel of Bojangles to the folks who may not have had it before.
I do stand positively on Bojangles. I do not eat Bojangles as much as I eat Chick-fil-A. I'll admit that. Chick-fil-A is kind of my
my
go-to
goodness.
for lunch and dinner. But let me be very clear. Any tailgate, whether it be Appalachian State, whether it be Carolina Panthers, whether it be Charlotte FC, there's no doubt in my mind it is Bojangles every single time. If I'm in a parking lot, it's going to be Bojangles. It's going to be the chicken supremes. It's going to be the biscuits. It's going to be the Cajun fries. It's going to be their honey mustard, which is probably the best honey mustard out there. So definitely huge fan of Bojangles. Love all their stuff. Not too sure. Appalachian Mountain Brewery, did y'all see this? Came out with a Bojangles hard iced tea last week.
Heard about
Probably going to fade that one. But big Bojangles fan. And for me, it's the absolute go-to during football season. Nothing else.
Yeah, I think that tea is going to if I could have stock in that tea, I would be in hard, as they say. I was scrolling through some BuzzFeed thing or something, and it said like the 50 state, a meme that encapsulates like each state. And for North Carolina, it showed like a weather report that said like Category 4 hurricane coming towards North Carolina. And in the comments, it says, "Will Bojangles still be open?" So it's pretty.
Bojangles will be open, and they'll have Cheerwine on draft. So that's the biggest thing we've got to sell folks outside of North Carolina. You got to load up on some Cheerwine. By far the best soft drink out there, in my opinion. So that's kind of my gospel that I preach for North Carolina is if you haven't tried Cheerwine, that's what you got to do. And Krispy Kreme blows Dunkin' away. So I don't want to hear American runs on Dunkin'.
Yes, sir.
You got closing thoughts, Lennox?
No, I appreciate the interview. I love the commentary. I love the Bojangles thing and just getting a mod's perspective on the current state of the market and the excitement surrounding what's to come. So definitely appreciate all your commentary, Lawson, and that's all I have on my side.
And
thanks for having me.
You're not off the hook just yet. We always have to say who's the one person you would like to see on the podcast, and the hook is you have to help us get them on.
Yeah, I'm gonna head chair. I'm gonna give you two. Again, the short version and long version, I guess. One, I would go with Hopper Nation. Not sure if y'all keep up with many of his posts in Discord, but super bright guy. From the story I was telling earlier, he's not my best friend, but he's the colleague of my best friend. So I've connected with him a lot over the past year. Lean on him for a lot of NFT advice outside of the Aku world. Different up and coming projects. When you're on the mod side and the project side, you don't branch out of the bubble as much as you think you will. So I rely on him for a lot of different stuff. So super bright guy. So definitely he would be one. And then if we're shooting for the moon, I would go with the Bachelor, Matt James. Not sure if folks know, but Matt James is a moon god. He's been a moon god since day one. Minted everything live with us. Pops in Discord, once or twice a year. He's a busy guy, but he's a big lover of Aku. When the contract thing happened, he was a big advocate on social media. I think his thing was not taking my helmet off. And he's continued to be a big supporter ever since. So I've got to know Matt a little bit over the past year. Played a little golf with him. He needs to work on his golf game a little bit, but I'll see if I can. I'm not promising it tomorrow, but I'll see if I can line something up there.
Well, we always appreciate the plug. So with that said, Bojangles, Cheerwine, Aku, that's the trifecta there from the North Carolina boys. App State alumni representing well. All three of us are moon gods, and who knows, maybe we'll see some more Mountaineers follow suit down the road. With that said, for LawsonMC90, for Lawson, I'm JwowLax. We will see you next time.